welcome back to the podcast, Susan. I'm so excited to have you here finally.
I am so excited to be here. It's been such a journey.
Yes. So, of course, I've had Susan on the podcast, episode 3. So, this is like way back when I think it was like 2019
20,
where
I
we
think, no, it was
connected. Was it
2018.
2018? Wow, 2018. That's insane. And when we first connected and we were fertility buddies, colleagues, Susan Singer was doing fertility yoga, phenomenal at it, and went through her journey. And I'm so excited to have you back. So you've completely revamped, changed, morphed, evolved. And I'm just really, really excited to have you.
Yay, I am too. I couldn't wait for us to get back here together. And yeah, we started our journeys together when I was going through my own fertility journey, which I'll, talk a little bit about that since we were on episode 3 and now you have over 300 episodes. It's amazing. And yeah, it's beyond awesome to see you grow, to see where I'm at, and it's so fun. So I was a fertility yoga teacher for many years, and I can still consider myself one as well because I still teach yoga. It's still the foundation of who I am. And I was a yoga teacher for many, many years. And then when I started going through my fertility journey, I brought fertility yoga into my life and how to use that to help me get pregnant. And I always said that you're part of a community you don't necessarily want to be a part of. And it's the heartache and the constant every day that's the only thing on your mind, and to be able to bring a sense of spirituality, connection to yourself, to source, I felt like that really helped me and guided me on my journey was, I think it started like back in 2017 when I was really like, okay, I'm ready to get pregnant. I was in my mid 30s, and I remember one time getting my Vedic astrology chart read, and it was saying that I was moving into my fertility moon phase during 2017. And I'm like, oh, great, I'm going to get pregnant. This is wonderful. I got married in that because it's all, Venus is all about relationships and love and family. And clearly it didn't happen. And I started going down the painful rabbit hole of trying to get pregnant and realizing my big thing was the quality of my eggs. And it was really difficult to figure out what direction to go into with, unfortunately, this whole industry, as you're aware, it's like it turns into, it's just another business, and you just feel like you're in a factory and you sit in the waiting rooms with hundreds of other women getting our blood work done, and it just feels so unfortunate and yucky, and it's like, I don't want to be here. Why is this happening to me? And why does that person get pregnant all the time, and I'm healthier than they are, or this crack addict has 6 kids and this isn't
Mhm.
happening for me. And so I definitely had my ups and downs, and I really felt that fertility yoga, the yoga portion of it, really helped me stay in rhythm of seeing myself in a higher space, and maybe not so much understanding why is this happening to me, but accepting that this is part of my journey. And I really wanted to share my journey. So that's when Michelle and I actually started our podcast together. And mine
Yes.
was called Goddess Mama Fertility Podcast. And I really spoke about my journey and had experts on the show and all that. So I went through a round of IVF, and when it's your first one, you're like, this is totally working for me. And then I got I think it was 10 eggs, and I think I ended up getting 5 embryos. And you're hoping, and then the call comes 2 days after, and then clearly it didn't work. And I fell into a space of like, my husband and I were both like, this is going to work. You go into like this instead of the feminine energy, you're going into this masculine energy, and you're in competition. And I'm going to do the IVF again, even though I was aware that you needed to calm your body first and why didn't this happen? Like, give myself 90 days, let my cells change. But no, I did it right away. Second round, didn't work. And then it was a process of, now what do I do? Like, am I going to do this again? Am I going to go a different route? And I remember during this time, I found the book Spirit Babies.
Mhm.
And I remember I had someone who was a spirit baby expert on the podcast, and it just completely changed so much of my take on understanding that, yeah, now I know, because she did a session on me, that I definitely have a spirit baby around me. And she was actually explaining what she looked like, how she had brown straight hair, and she was very active, and she was into art, and she was running around in the backyard, and she was just saying all these things about her. And um I just felt different. Like, it wasn't just so much about what was going on in my body. It was like the connection of the timing and so much that had to go around it. So I was able to sit in that energy and help soothe myself and my nervous system. And uh, just really, and also the work that you were doing, I really felt that acupuncture really helped a lot. And when was it? Was it a year later? I'm not sure how much longer, but I did another round. And um and then I remember I came back and I had a session with you, and you were the first person to tell me that you're pregnant, because you can feel it on my wrist, like my heartbeat was different. I remember that.
Wow.
And it was so profound, because I feel like I took out my ego and myself, and I was able to maybe connect with her, like connect with my spirit baby. And when was she ready to come in? So I can keep talking because I have a great
Oh, no,
story.
keep talking.
Okay.
I love all of this, and I'm
So
sure the listeners too.
yeah, so I ended up, so I found out I was pregnant by you, and then I was waiting, I think, 10 days to get the real call. And I remember I was in Miami. I was at a yoga class, and I remember telling the yoga class, like, I'm supposed to find out like right after this class. And I was like freaking out. And then I was in the car and I got the call and I found out I was pregnant. And just, I really wanted to get home because I was living on the water then, and I wanted to get the call, and I wanted the dolphins just to come jumping out of the water. And I had this whole plan, but instead I was in a parking garage, but it was okay. And I found out I was pregnant, and I need to share this, such a powerful story. So when I was young, I was probably back like 10, 15 years ago, when I opened up a bank account. And when you have to put in a code, like a new code for your PIN, you have to put in a PIN. Well, I just randomly picked this number, just randomly picked a 4-digit number. And I did that back in like 2007. So, never thinking about it. Then it was always like my locker code and whatever. Cut to, I'm in the delivery room, and my due date was pushed up 2 weeks, because the last time I went in to get a test and an ultrasound, my blood pressure was really high. And they're like, yeah, you're having this baby tonight. And I
Uh-huh.
knew it was they had to, what was the word? They have to induce me.
Induce,
And
yeah.
it was a full moon, and I'm like, clearly she wants to be born on a full moon. And it was 2 weeks before my due date. And I looked, and that I had my beautiful daughter. And I was there with her, and I looked at, in the hospital, I looked at the board where it said her name and her weight and the date she was born, and it wasn't spelled out. Instead, it was just the numbers. And I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, 1113. That was the code that was my PIN that I put in like
Wow.
15 years ago. It randomly came to me, and now here I am. Like, I can tear up that
That's
she was born on
insane. I
November
never knew
13th.
this.
Yeah. And I'm just like,
Oh my
this
god.
is what I'm talking about when I say that, like, everything happens in divine timing.
Oh my
Every
god. I
it
love
is
that.
it's just beyond. It's like you came here for a reason. Your spirit, your soul came here for a reason. You already have your blueprint. Everything is already mapped out.
Mhm.
Whether you're not getting pregnant because of environmental, or because of your eggs, or because of this or that, it's everything is just, this is your path, this is your journey. And when I
Mhm.
saw that, and I got pregnant at 40, so I
Mhm.
had her when I was 40, when I turned 41,
Mhm.
and it was just like, and she has straight brown hair, she's a ball of
I keep
fire,
getting the
she's
chills, by the way. I'm just
running
sitting here with a
around,
bunch of chills.
art every, like, it's just like, oh my God. And like this little thing was like, she was waiting for me. And it doesn't matter how she entered into this world. It doesn't, none of that matters. It's like, if you if your spirit baby is there, like
Mhm.
she or he is coming, like when the timing, and honestly, like, I'm not going to get into it, but there's even no thing, timing doesn't even exist. It's just like,
Right.
this is your path. So I just, November 13th, 1113, like that was just
Wow.
the most random number. And it was like, I truly believe it was like, it was, she's a gift. And like, and she didn't, the second round of IVF didn't work. And then we found out we were moving to Tennessee. And when we found out we were moving that next month, I found out I was pregnant. Like, she wanted to be a country girl. She didn't want to be
I
in
love
Miami.
it. I love that. I just love that so much. I think that first of all, I believe that the universe is mathematical. There's so many mathematical things, the what is it called? The sequence, the golden ratio and the what is it? The something sequence.
I don't know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? It's 1 1 2 3. It's like there's a certain sequence.
Yes, yes. I don't know
I
what
forget.
that is, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but there's definitely numbers and numerology and symbols and signs, and that's how the universe speaks to us. Because I think that we come here with free will. Nothing's given to us like so direct. We actually have to seek it. We have to do that extra effort of noticing and paying attention to the signs. And I think that is freaking amazing. I mean, I never knew that story.
I never told
I'm
you
blown
that. Yeah.
away.
It's
Blown
just,
away.
it's like now, she's 5.5, and it's, she just, she's mine. She's perfect. Like, exactly the way, everything is mapped out. And I just think the most important thing to mention is that this is your journey. This is has nothing to do with anyone else but
Hmm.
you and your partner. And it's like, like I was always just, envious or ego, like, why isn't this we always why isn't this happening to me? What is
Hmm.
wrong with my body? It's like, yeah, okay, maybe you need to get acupuncture, maybe you need to eat better, maybe you are using chemicals that you shouldn't be using, but you can clean all that up. But like you said, it's just, it is what it is. Our existence is here with this path, and this is what's going on in our lives in this world at this moment
Hmm.
with fertility problems with women, and and men, of course,
Yeah.
too. It's just, it's unfortunate, but it's true. As I grow and I learn, even with where my body is today, the importance of the nervous system, the importance of sitting in the feminine energy, the importance of not of being in your element and what is best for you, and nothing about what other people are doing or the environment or what society is saying, and just really honoring this, because this path is your path, and it might go on for a year, and it might go on for 10 years, and you might
Hmm.
need 10 rounds of IVF, and you know what, after that, and you have your baby, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't
Hmm.
matter, because life is still
Yeah.
moving forward. So, and you might, it's just, I just want everyone to know that, like I said, it's like you're part of a community that you don't want to be a part of, and you're going through this process. But if you can come from it with love and with just a soul connection, you're going to be able to actually enjoy and understand, like, okay, that was something I needed to go through in my life and learn.
Absolutely. And I think one of the biggest misconceptions or sort of misperception is that you have to suffer through this. And you don't. And I can tell you, and I can tell you, I've seen so many patients, and I've seen them going through the different stages, and it is almost like different stages of grief, where you're first feeling it and then you feel really bad and then you go through resistance, and then eventually you just can't sustain that resistance and you end up surrendering, and sometimes you get tired or a little depressed before you get your energy back, and then you feel more flow, and this is when you really become conscious of the whole process that's happening. But I do see people finding peace before a baby, and then just subsequently, I think it's just because of the icing on the cake, they end up having the baby. And it comes in divine timing, like you said. And many times, it's always in hindsight. When people do have the baby they're meant to have, they look back and they say, I wouldn't have changed a thing. It's of course after everything,
Of
but
course.
then you don't have that exact baby that you have. And I've even had a woman, she has been trying to conceive with secondary. So she had her first baby, and then it took like 6 years she was trying, and she kept having miscarriages. And even at one point, she'd only conceive at certain times of the year. So she actually avoided those times because she was afraid that she was going to miscarry again, but she was still coming to me for acupuncture. So as you can see, she was kind of having this resistance within herself
Yeah.
because she wants to get pregnant, but then she's afraid. So she was seeing me for like a full year. That next time she was coming into the fall season, which happens to be actually a time where a lot of people do conceive. And I said, no, try this time. Like, allow yourself to try this time. I'm here and I'll be supporting you. She's like, don't hold yourself back. And what do you know? She got pregnant, kept the baby. Even her daughter was afraid to like let herself get excited, which is heartbreaking. But luckily, she was sending pictures with a big belly
Oh,
and she ended up having the baby. And now she has two kids. But it's
yes.
it's crazy how the whole journey can take you to so many different places, and those places are up and down, and it really is it could be a very confusing journey, but ultimately I see a lot of people do get to the place of peace.
And I never really knew about resistance. I never really understood that's like a big thing, that actually resistance is fear, and
Mhm.
you have to step through. There's something in you, like you're afraid to go on the other side, and the
Yeah.
other side is courage. The other side is the light. And
Yeah.
we don't realize, like, she doesn't didn't realize she was actually energetically resisting that. And it's just, it can be a
Yeah.
big stop. It can be a big halt that you don't even realize you're doing. And I think yeah, I think for me, I was very much in, even though, it's so, even though I'm in all this feminine energy and I knew I needed to like calm my nervous system down and go through the whole process, I was still very masculine in my mind. And I wasn't able to connect the two of what was really going on in my body. And I think the big thing is also trusting myself and trusting I had all the answers in me, and I was just too scared to express them. Or maybe I should have went with this other doctor instead of this doctor. Or maybe if I really truly believed that if I just did this one method it would have worked, but yet I was listening to other people. I just think it's very important to be able to take the time and sit with yourself, because
Mhm.
your body knows, like you
It's true.
innately,
100%.
yeah, have it all in you. And when you can come from that surrendering place and honoring, it's, you know, again, easier said than done, but I am aware, because we're all always growing, even after this and having my baby. It's like I can look back and be like, interesting, if I would have just come at it this way, but it was never going to work because it's divine timing. I was supposed to have her
Yes.
when I did.
Yep. It's
Yeah.
so amazing. I mean, that is just like mind-blowing. And it's such a great lesson. It's so poetic. Like, it's crazy how life can be so poetic in
Yeah,
that
and
way.
there's signs along the way. There's
Yeah.
always signs.
Well, I will say this. I'm starting to think that I should write a book just about the stories that I'm hearing from my patients on the signs that they're getting. It is pretty like amazing. It's really mind blowing. I hear so many stories about signs people get for their spirit babies, and I see such specific things happening that are basically confirming that these signs are real. I mean, it's crazy. Like people even knowing the gender like
Yeah.
before they even conceive,
Right.
and getting signs before, like after like coming to me for a year and nothing happening, but also being on the journey for like sometimes 5 years. It's wild.
Yeah.
It's really wild. And then kind of it's confusing at first because you're getting signs and you're not really seeing anything happen. But
Right.
then eventually something does happen. And what's really crazy is I recently had a sign come to me myself. Like my patient was telling me about these two things, two specific things. I don't want to mention yet because she's still on the journey, but two specific symbols or a name and a symbol. And she had mentioned that. She said that she saw it and it was pretty crazy. But then I'm driving and I literally within a minute see the two. And I was like, oh my God, I've never actually had the sign for my patient. Like it's never been something in my kind of like world, in my movie.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so awesome.
Yeah. It really is. So tell us about what you're doing now, because I know you're doing a lot of fun, exciting
Yeah.
ventures
So
and
it's just so
endeavors.
great how, everything comes back full circle. It's like, whether you're, again, everything we just talked about with trying to conceive, to the work that you're doing in the past, to projects that you created in the past, and the loves that you've had in the past, everything, again, is signs. It's like unfolding. So, my biggest intention, and that's also big for the journey you might be on, is to really sit and have and understand your intentions and what you want. So, my biggest intention when I moved to a new place at 40 was to find a group of like-minded women, and really like soul-led like-minded women. I'm very into connecting to source, and I love having conversations on spirituality, and I am coming from a place of abundance and higher selves and always having all those conversations. And um we ended up moving to Tennessee, and then I had Natalia, and then COVID happened, and then all this stuff. Well, like about 4 years after we moved, and I had this intention, I was sitting around a table on my birthday, and there was these women there, and all like my new friends, and I'm like, wow, it really happened. I actually I had that was my biggest thing, because for me, who I am and what my chart says and everything I can see from now until who I am today, I'm 45. I see what excites me is community, is being around other women. And I was sitting around this table, and I'm like, my community, it happened. It's here. Like, this is amazing. And cut to, I was finally now getting out in the world, and I really wanted to get back into yoga and really start building the wellness community where I live. And I I remember I was just locked in with my daughter because she was so young at this one time. And I finally decided to go to this networking event. I went to one. And from going to this one event, I met this woman who learned about me, and she wanted me to be working with her. We wanted to do a retreat, who then connected me with this other woman, and we started we were chatting, and we realized that we wanted to create a really powerful yoga biohacking inspired retreat, and we wanted to connect with mother nature, and we called it Gals Off the Grid. And we did this one retreat, and then one of the women had other things going on, so she can no longer do it, and this one gal, her and I just completely connected on such a level of we were just talking about our dreams and our visions, and what we've always wanted to build a community and have international retreats and connect deep with Mother Earth and learn all about that. And my big thing was, I wanted to do this with someone who really knew the body and really knew the feminine health, the way to embody health in a way that's very connected to Mother Earth. And she happens to be a somatic practitioner on so many modalities, whether it's frequencies and tuning forks and tapping and Reiki and just connecting intuitively, to she's certified in, she's an epigenetics coach. So that's really profound and big. So now her and I formed a business. We still have the name Gals Off the Grid, and it's really a place for soul-led women to connect with really their what your soul has been craving, where you know that you're on a mission to be bigger than you are. And we feel that with the work that we've done, we have over 40 plus years of professional work together that we've created, and then our own personal lives have got to where we are. And we've created these 6 roots. Like, we really hold Gals Off the Grid as just imagining your fingers, your body just rooting into Mother Earth. So these pillars really focus on the dynamic of and the essence of, if you can accomplish and really activate these 6 pillars in your life, you will be that much closer to creating the life of your dreams, and you will be able to activate your own roots. So our roots that we talk about are community, mind, body, ancient wisdom, spirituality, like our ancestor, these the indigenous people in this world, the knowledge that they have. So really integrating really integrating ancient wisdom and modern science, also your intuition and your awareness. So being able to bring all of these pillars into your life and starting to understand them, we really teach you how to do that. So that's the main form of our community. And within that, we have a monthly membership where we guide you through these pillars. They're very seasonal. We work with the wheel of our own life, with the new moon
Mhm.
and the full moon and the
Love that.
energy and getting our period and not getting it, and really the flow of the feminine energy. So we bring that element into the whole community. We have quarterly like retreats that you can do live in person. We have international retreats. We always have like the connection of somatic healing, where we're always doing when we're on our monthly calls, whether it's meditation or yoga or tapping or things to really ground you. And then we have like a library of all of these tools within the membership that you can always go back to. So we're always busy. We got things going on. We're on the
Yeah,
go. That's why
that's
I love
awesome.
podcasts so much. So we're on the podcast, walking and being able to just feel like, you know what, I need a little more umph today. Like, I'm just going to
Mhm.
tap into my community. And I said, with, being part of the fertility community is like, you so don't want to be a part of that. But here we are. Like, this is the
Yeah.
community that will just light you up. And another big thing that was so powerful, I know, for my co-founder with me is Valentina, is that feeling like you're not connected with people that understand you, like you're on a different frequency, you're elevated, and it's
Mhm.
like everyone is on, like you're trying to have a conversation but no one's understanding what you're saying. Piece, you're on a different radio station. That's what he was saying. I'm like, I feel like my husband
Mhm.
doesn't know what I'm talking about, because it's like you literally have to turn the radio station, so they're never going to
Mhm.
hear you. And that's where
Yeah.
it's like, this is where we are. Like, you're going to hear us, you're going to be with us, we're going to support you,
Yeah.
exactly like showing up to where you are. So we're very in the thick of things and creating these wonderful events for you. And it's exciting. So that's what I'm saying. It's like community has always been around, and just being with people that can help you and support you and guide you to live your highest life is why we created this community.
I love that. I absolutely love it. And I think that as humans, we have so much potential. And I think that having that reflected in that energy and that soup of community can make such a difference because we reflect to each other, to one another. First of all, what we see that might be a little different, because when we're drawn to things like that, it's because we feel within us. It's kind of like you were saying, you're like thirsting and craving. We feel within us that there's something more,
Yeah.
that there's something that more that we want to see. And so when you're getting minds together and hearts together, you can move mountains, I believe.
And women, just having a circle of women together, the power of that. I have land out here, and we do a lot of full moon ceremonies and forest bathing and
Love
these
that.
events out on the land, where we're literally connecting with the Indians that have been there. We had a historian come to the land, and hundreds of years ago the Chickasaw Indians lived on that land. And
Wow.
one day we did a forest bathing event. And really, forest bathing is where you're just walking in meditation through nature and being like really
Mm.
quiet and still. And I was explaining to the group that was there, the Chickasaw Indians were here, and I was talking about somehow I was talking about my fertility journey. I was wearing one of my beaded bracelets that my friend gave me while I was getting in the process of getting pregnant. And while I was talking about it, my bracelet popped off.
Wow.
And it was
Was that
so
moonstone by any chance?
what?
Moonstone?
No, it was actually, oh, I forget it was a white stone. It was white beads. And then there was
Mhm.
a silver one. Like I forget the name of it. But so I took the
That's
beads and I
crazy.
put them in the creek because there's a creek on the land. And then everyone left, and I felt this big pull to come back to the land. So I sat there by myself. And I'm not joking. Like, I felt the energy of the women on that land. And I was crying and crying and crying. And I don't know why. I felt like I was shedding their tears. And ever since then, I've had a spirit guide with me. One of the women that was on that land hundreds of
Wow.
years ago
That's amazing.
has been by my side. And I feel like what and we had a medium out there, like a very intuitive woman out there, and she was like, they're so happy you're here to bring this energy and share it with other women. And you're just doing, like, keep doing this. You are a steward. Like, we all are stewards
Wow. That
for
is
the
so
land that we are
powerful.
on now. We're like, and that's what I mean. We're bringing back this indigenous, this, we're understanding more
The
the connection we
connection.
have with the land and Mother Earth. And that's just another part of fertility. And it's just, so that's what I say. Like everything
Oh,
is kind of
yeah.
forming back and coming back full circle of the work that I did in the past to where I am today. And it's just really cool.
Wow. That's so freaking cool, Susan. I'm telling you, like, this is amazing because I'm so glad we connected. Like, it just brings me back to that initial connection that we had because connecting with your spirit, I really love your spirit. I feel like we've always had that soul sister connection
Yes.
from the beginning. But this is so powerful. Like everything that you're telling me is so powerful and it speaks to me on so many levels because I always felt, I'm an artist and I'm also a healer. And I remember one person told me a long time ago, it was just somebody I actually learned Reiki 1 with because I was really intrigued by the healing aspect of just the body. And back then I was doing architecture. And she said, you're an artist, but you're also a healer. And she goes, the same energy that comes through your hands to create is the same energy that comes through your hand to heal. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And so I always felt like I was channeling some kind of goddess energy. And then it kind of dawned on me, I think a couple of years back, that it was Guan Yin. I could just kept feeling Guan Yin, who's the female goddess of compassion and fertility. Oh, look at that. Susan, just in case you guys are listening to the podcast and not on the YouTube, she's showing me a Guanyin deck of cards. Of course, of
Of
course.
course.
I mean, obviously. So what's crazy is I felt her and I feel her through my art and I feel her through my work and I feel a lot of like heart centered. I feel like my heart connects with my patients as I'm treating them. And I remember Energy Medicine by Jill Blakeway, she talks about that. And she talks about how the heart coherence really makes that connection. So, my point is I had a reading with, I'm trying to, oh my gosh, I'm so bad with names these days. I had, geez, Dana something. She's a intuitive. And Dana Childs. I had
Hmm.
to say her name. I have to give her the credit. So Dana Childs gave me a reading, and the first thing that comes out of her mouth, and I have not talked about Guan Yin to anybody. She goes, first thing that comes up is Guan Yin. She works with you. And I was like, I know. I know she does. How do you know? But I guess you know because you're connected. It was really crazy. So, anyhow, I totally get that whole thing. I literally feel guided by her. I feel the love in my heart with her. It's wild, wild.
I know.
Yeah,
God.
pretty cool stuff. So,
Yeah.
how can people, first of all, I'm just so happy you're here, but how can people find you? How can people find out about your membership, like what you're doing, your podcast, like all of it?
Yeah. So if you're still interested in maybe hearing more about my fertility journey and who I've had on my podcast, that's still live. So that's Goddess Mama Fertility. And then everything today that's going on is galsoffthegrid.com. And you can go to our Instagram at galsoffthegrid.com. And that's the best way to get to find out about everything that we're doing. We have on summer solstice, we're doing a amazing, it's a rooted soul body activation. And so it's like a class that we're doing online. You can grab it on the go, and that really helps you understand what we're all about and moving into, if you're interested, into the monthly membership that we have. So yeah, the summer solstice is so great to have that. And it's cool because since we kind of say we're gals off the grid, we're kind of off the grid. We don't necessarily so much want to be online. So to learn more about what we're doing, it's great to connect with us in that way and send your email so you can have first dibs on learning about all of our different retreats and all the events that we're having. And yeah, you can find all of that out on Gals Off the Grid. And it would just be wonderful. And I am always here for anyone that wants to talk about their journey and where they are today. I'm an open book, and I love to share, and I love to guide and help people. I feel like that's, again, through my own heart of how I can give back, and just a huge part of my soul's purpose. And thank
I
you
love
so
that.
much for being here, for us to be doing this together. It's
Yes.
so great to see you.
It's about time. It's been
Yeah.
too long. So I'm really happy to have you back. And you guys, if you ever want, check out her first episode, Susan's first episode on episode 3 of this podcast.
It's
We're on like
amazing.
300 and something. I mean, yeah. So
I'm
she
so
basically
proud
was
of
like the
you.
beginning, the early, the original.
Yeah.
So Susan, this is amazing. I knew it was going to be amazing, but exceeded my amazing expectations. So thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me.